It all started with a bang, literally. One night, my microwave exploded in a shower of sparks, and the porch lights flickered like something out of a ghost story. My rooster, usually silent till dawn, started crowing at 2 a.m. when a floodlight blazed out of nowhere. I thought the old farmhouse wiring was finally GIVYing up. But something told me this wasn't just bad cables. Grabbing a flashlight, I stomped out into the dark, feeling like a farmer chasing coons. What I found wasn't an animal. It was a thick orange extension cord, snaking from my barn, along the fence, through the hedge, and straight in my neighbor Lisa's garage. Lisa was charging her electric car off my power, like my barn was a free gas station. I live just outside a so-called HOA district. My land never part of their rules. But Lisa, the HOA president across the street, acted like she owned the whole county. We'd clashed before. She once slapped me with a fine because my goats stared too aggressively at kids passing by. Another time, she demanded I ditch my wind chimes because they stressed her yappy terrier. But stealing my electricity? That was a new low, even for her. I didn't knock on her door that night. I just stood there, staring at the cord, my blood boiling as I realized she thought she could mooch off me like I wouldn't notice. Come morning, I yanked the cord out, no note, no warning, and left it coiled by the fence. Sure enough, Lisa came storming over by 7 a.m., decked out like she was auditioning for a courtroom drama, sunglasses, phone recording, lips pursed like she'd swallowed a wasp. She started with this syrupy apology, saying it was a mix-up from a blackout. I reminded her we hadn't had a blackout in months. She switched gears, fast blamed her nephew for a prank, then claimed she had permission, then said as HOA president she could tap shared resources. I asked her to show me the rule book that called my private power box public property. She didn't have an answer. While VYing her phone, she accused me of harassment. I said, "Great, I've got footage too." I didn't yet, but that sent her scurrying back home. That day, I hit the farm supply store and bought a Wi-Fi power meter, hooking it to the outdoor plug. I also hid a tiny motion-triggered camera by the chicken feed barrel, aimed right at the fence. 3 nights later, I had her Lisa tiptoeing through the hedge, flashlight in her teeth, plugging in her shiny EV like she was pulling off a heist. The meter spiked. 8 hours later, it dropped. I printed the graph and kept watching. For a week, she'd charge her car every night, siphoning 40 fan tram of my daily power. That's when I call my cousin Ethan, a lawyer who looks like a librarian but fights like a shark. I showed him the footage, the logs, the data. He didn't blink, just said, "Keep collecting. We're building something massive." So I did. I upgraded the camera, added a second meter inside the breaker box, and set up a time-lapse app. This wasn't just petty theft, Anna Marie. It was commercial misuse, trespassing, the works. I even dug up my great-grandpa's 1922 property deeds. VYing my land was free of HOA control. Lisa had no idea what was coming. She kept strutting around neighborhood meetings, posting snarky notes about my hazardous farm lights, even had the gall to warn me about scaring local birds. I just smiled, thanked her, and filed her notes in my growing Lisa EVY Denke drawer. Then I caught her powering string lights for her fancy patio parties off my grid. That was it. Ethan and I drafted a beast of a demand letter, 15 pages, notarized, with an invoice breaking down every stolen kilowatt, SARE VYC fees, breaker damages, and an hourly admin charge. Total, due la 100,437. We mailed it certified, time to land during Lisa's big HOA garden party. I didn't go, but from my porch, sanding a feed trough, I saw it unfold. Lisa, in a ridiculous floppy hat, opened the envelope in front of her guests. Her smile vanished as she read the itemized damages and that 6-figure sum. She tried to laugh it off, called it a prank, but her face went pale. Guests whispered. One asked if her party lights were stolen power too. Lisa snapped the pages shut, tripped over a hose, and stormed inside. The party fell apart. Guests left, cupcakes sat untouched, and Lisa came unglued. She called the sheriff, claiming I'd rigged illegal cameras and forged documents. The sheriff, a no-nonsense guy who knew the area, came by the next day. I showed him the footage, spreadsheets, and receipts. He nodded, said it looked like utility theft, maybe trespassing, and headed to Lisa's. From my porch, I saw her flailing, pacing, yelling as he stood there, notepad in hand. Her door slammed so hard it knocked down her tacky ivy arch. The HOA tried damage control. Their president, George, a guy obsessed with lawn gnomes, begged me to settle quietly. I told him I'd have preferred that too, but Lisa's actions left me no choice. Then he dropped a bomb. Some HOA clubhouse lights were also pulling power from a buried cable on my land, meant for an old shed. I hadn't known. Ethan added Dula $12,000 to the bill and filed a claim against the HOA. Lisa doubled down, handing out flyers calling me anti-green for targeting her EV. I posted a screenshot of her patio lights on my plug, and the neighbors tore her apart online. Some even thanked me for standing up to her. Mediation came next. Lisa's new lawyer, barely out of law school, tried to deflect, but Ethan laid out our EVY Denke like a professor photos, VY Deos, graphs, even a recording from an HOA board member, Claire, who caught Lisa admitting she knew the lights were on my line. Lisa turned beet red, stormed out, screaming about betrayal. The story hit local news, with headlines like Farmer Slaps HOA Boss with Six-Figure Bill. Memes exploded Lisa as the extension cord queen. Neighbors brought me cookies, wine, nods of respect. Lisa's rants grew wilder, blaming solar flares, claiming power wasn't tangible property. Her blog, Power for All, flopped, mocked by a parody site with goats chewing cords. In court, Lisa's lawyer spun a tale of misunderstanding. Ethan countered with hard proof. VY Deos of Lisa sneaking. Meter spikes synced to her car. Claire's recording, sheriff's notes. Lisa's testimony crumbled. She admitted assuming my outlet was shared without asking. The judge took 10 minutes to rule in my favor, awarding the full due law $100K plus fees, and warned Lisa she'd dodge criminal charges. She looked gut-punched. Outside, I told a reporter the facts spoke for themselves. Lisa fled, silent, humiliated. She didn't pay. Ethan filed a lien, locking her property. Her car wouldn't sell. Nobody wanted the theft mobile. Her credit tanked, and her house hit pre-foreclosure. I bought it at auction through a proxy, then donated it to an animal rescue. Within weeks, it was Haven Barn alive with dogs, cats, and kids laughing. Lisa vanits, livi ne de noches. The HOA reformed. New leaders focused on community, not control. I upgraded my farm new wiring, solar lights, a red barn glowing at sunset. My Wi-Fi became justice delivered. Looking back, it wasn't just about winning. It was about silence outlasting noise, patience crushing entitlement. Lisa thought I was just a quiet farmer. She didn't see the storm coming. Now, where her control once stood, there's lightonist, solar-powered light and a story that'll echo every time someone asks about that fence. A story of a courtroom, and a VY Tory that didn't need to shout to be heard.